this is to you, whoever needs to hear this, that you don't take a break, you're going to have a break. Have you ever done that? Have you ever pushed so hard and you just got to get through this next weekend, or you just got to get through to vacation, and then you get to vacation and you end up sick? So I am coming to you to ask you and actually implore you to put some scheduled downtime breaks. Hi there. Welcome to Intuition, Your Success Compass. I'm Vicki Baird, intuitive business and life coach. And I am coming to you today for those of you who could see me on video, fresh from mowing. And for those who can't, well, just imagine it. Okay. Like you got the baseball cap on, there's no makeup going on, t-shirt, whatever this thing is called, coming in fresh from 90 degrees out there. But this is the window I had to mow, or so I thought. So as I'm mowing, we use a battery operated one. Sustainability. Thank you very much. And it's amazing. And it's so light, but it also has to be recharged about partway through the mowing, especially right now when the season's a little unpredictable and we get a lot of rain. You can't mow. By the time it dries out, the grass is very high. So, and then some of us have those partners who forget to plug things in, and then the other one forgets to check, was it plugged in? So I didn't plan on doing my podcast in this getup, although if I'm being totally transparent, this is what it looked like before I did it, because that just worked, right? So, but while I was mowing and going along at a pretty good clip, we have a lot of lawn. We're making it smaller and smaller so that we have more pollinators, less lawn. But for this season, we have to maintain and then gradually shorten it. Not that you needed to know that, but welcome to my life. And as I'm mowing, my headphones kept saying, charge me, because in this case, I am the partner who forgot to charge them. And I was like, yeah. I'm going to keep going until these die. And then I was listening to a podcast, ironically. I just won't have anything there, and that's fine. So I'm going along. One mower craps out. And it's like, no, I'm done too, because this grass is too high and I only had half a charge. So you get 25 minutes. And that only does about an eighth of the lawn. So actually, that's not true, a quarter of the lawn. So I'm thinking, you don't need a break just yet. Like, we just started. I want to get this done. I had plans to take my shower, get presentable, show up on video for the podcast I had planned. And then as it's going to break, I'm like, okay, what am I going to do now? I'll have to go do something else because I have to let it charge. There's no pushing that. The headphones I can do without. The lawnmower, not so much. So as I'm complaining, I am, because when I set my mind to do something, I am a go person. Let's get it done now. Learning patience, but that's where it is right now. And as I'm doing this, I kept hearing, it needs a break. It needs a break. It needs a break. And I'm like, I know it needs a break. Didn't I just say I'm going to give it a break? I'm going to charge it in. And then it kept like repeating itself. And sometimes when I'm in a very fundamental human get things done pattern, I don't recognize that these are messages from my guides, from the ascended masters, from source, from my own soul. I just oblivious to it sometimes, which makes it more fun. And as I'm hearing this, it needs a break, it needs a break, it needs a break. And I'm thinking, yeah, stop it, brain. I know that. There's no point in complaining. Let's just get to this. I realized it was a download. And then I'm like, oh, okay. And for whatever reason, it's a reverence, but it's also, I don't know if you feel this way, but sometimes as an adult with decision fatigue on some days, I like when somebody else makes a decision for me. And if that's going to be spirit, I'm right there for it. So I am more easygoing when it's a message from spirit. Yeah, it's ego. It's cute. I get it. So I take the battery and charge it. I plug my headphones in, get myself a drink, even put batteries in the frother. That, by the way, if you don't use a milk frother to mix up your protein drinks, what are you waiting for? Get on that game. And I'm hearing, take a break, take a break, take a break. Well, I don't think that applies to me. I've been running errands, but it hasn't been a difficult day. And then I realize, oh, this is a bigger message. This is not necessarily for myself. This is to you, whomever is listening to this, whoever needs to hear this, that you don't take a break, you're going to have a break. Have you ever done that? Have you ever pushed so hard and you just got to get through this next weekend, or you just got to get through to vacation, and then you get to vacation and you end up sick, or you slip and fall and you are flat on your back, or like myself, you blow out your back because you weren't listening, that you needed to rest and integrate some of the work that you've been doing. So I am coming to you in all my lawn mowing, dirty shirts, sweaty glory to ask you and actually implore you to put some scheduled downtime breaks. I don't even like calling them that. Let's put some nourishment into your life to where you recognize that there's a need, there's a desire, and then it has to follow with action for that pause. Hey there, fabulous souls. I wanted to take a minute and invite you to a live interactive session every Wednesday, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on YouTube at Vicki Baird Coaching. I'll be answering questions, diving into thought-provoking discussions, and forming deep connections with each and every one of you in the time that allows. I believe the true connection happens when we come together, when we share our thoughts, and then we can inspire one another. I know I live well by example and to mentor up, and that's what I'd like to create. This event is a golden opportunity for us to connect on a personal level and create some memories. Whether you're a fan of my podcast or someone curious to learn more, this live event is for you. It's a space where we can share ideas, explore new perspectives, and grow together with respect and humor. Save the date and join me Wednesdays at 5 p.m. at Vicki Baird Coaching on YouTube, and let's create an unforgettable experience filled with laughter, insights, and genuine connection. I'll see you there. Someone asked me last night in the live, what would I suggest to those who are newbies to connecting with their team and how to get started? And my first statement was, you have to get quiet. You have to be still. And that is something that is difficult for a lot of us, actually. And even more so, the more distracted we get and the more screens we have. So this message of take a break is meant to be restorative. It's meant to calm down your adrenal system, to slow down that cortisol, and to have you spend some time with yourself so that you can learn to like yourself even more. Because there was a pretty good message going on in my head when I heard, go do a podcast. That was the next message. And I said, no, I can't. I'm doing YouTube now. I have to show up at least what I consider presentable. And I heard, as soon as that came through my thinking head, I thought, that's not cool. How about I take a break from judging whether someone's going to watch this because I showed up. I earned this. Like, I ran this 5K. And in my sweatiness, if they're not going to align with the message and they're not going to stay on the page or the podcast because of how I look, well, the podcast is probably easier because you can't envision it. We'll have to put a picture of it up. So that was going through my head. And that's another type of break that I feel like we can all benefit from, is that break of self-judgment and recrimination. And I can't. What, my information isn't good enough if I haven't put on, a clean shirt And it was clean before I started mowing or anything like that. And this idea of having a break, giving yourself a break before you break, well, that critic is part of that. And if there's not a pause and hearing that judgmental voice in there, it will eventually break you because your confidence, your self-esteem, and your connection to self won't build because it's too busy being torn down. And I don't know about you, but I think there's enough in our marketing and messaging and societal stuff and family experiences that we don't have to do that to ourselves. We may have learned how to do it to ourselves, but we don't have to continue to do that. So when I heard the message that go do this podcast now while it's fresh in the download, I thought, nope. And then I thought, yep, I'm going to do it because if I'm not coming to you authentically, I shouldn't be here at all because phoning it in, not what I want in my life. It's not what I want in my relationships, including my relationship with you. So where have you been that critic to yourself and judging and more worried about what other people are going to think about your appearance than how you feel in your own essence, in your own body, and in your own expression of who you are? 90% of the time, this is how I am. It is not with the dolled up, done up. It's not my interest. It's not even that I don't want to do it. It's just not my interest. So have you been more difficult to be around lately for yourself? We're not talking about other people. Have you been more challenged lately? The reason I'm asking this is because there is an energy that is percolating that is very much part of our experience right now that is a super conscious energy that's asking us to blow out all of the all of the preconceived notions of not good enough, not worthy, have to make it work for other people. The I can't show up in this fashion because I haven't done it before. And I don't mean fashion as far as clothes, but like how you're presenting yourself. Maybe there's something you've always wanted to do with your hair. Maybe there's something you've always wanted to do with your, maybe learn a language or expand into another career. And you're not giving yourself permission to do it because you're too concerned about what's going on out here. This is another layer of giving yourself a break before you break, because the more externally focused we are, the more distance we get from our soul and the more difficult it is to even know who we are. So in this shorter episode, I'm going to request that you take what would normally be another 20 minutes or so of me sharing information and advice and tools, and you take that time for yourself. You show up and you decide, where is it that I feel I would benefit from a pause? If you don't want to call it a break, call it a pause. And then you do have to take the action to do it. I find in an ongoing way, it has to be on the calendar until it becomes a habit. It has to be a commitment to yourself until the neural pathways get laid down and you do it from rote, from memory, still invested, but from that place of, if I don't take this space for me, I feel like this. So if we're not recharging like the lawnmower, like my headset, we can't be, we can't work, and we can't interact with others in a way that is in our highest intention. So in line with this, please commit to yourself that you will take 20 minutes for you. And you can take these 20 minutes and you can maybe write down a list of the things that you would like to do that would seem fun and that would seem like would charge your battery. Because when things get too hectic or when the focus becomes on the other, you have to know where to go to have that time. And I have found that if there are 4 or 5 things written down, have them in the notes section of your phone, have them in a piece of paper in your wallet, a pad on your desk, something that reminds you that when you had time, you had these ideas before. Because I've experienced it myself where I have the space and then I just kind of spin in circles and I don't actually recharge, or I end up scrolling or bouncing around Google instead of actually taking the time plugged in to myself and to what lights me up, which also creates a healthy microbiome in your body. It creates a healthy gut, which then creates a healthy mind. So thank you for entertaining this short episode and for being a viewer of this channel, a listener of the podcast. For those who are commenting, you make my day. You absolutely make my day. When there's a comment or an email or a review, and that charges me. That puts me in a place of such high frequency that when I have these ideas and when I have these downloads, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go give it to them because it works for me. I'm going to actually go do this myself. I'm going to take the rest of the time that it takes for the lawnmower to charge, the battery to charge, and I'm going to do some deep breathing. And I wish you the best. And I'm so grateful that you're here. I will see you in the next episode, and stay cool out there, okay? Thank you for listening to this episode of Intuition, Your Success Compass. I appreciate you being here. If you would like more information about developing your intuitive skills, removing those blocks, and creating the life that feels the most successful to you, then head on over to vickibaird.com. That's VICKIBAIRD.com. And check out the courses, the groups, and the Spaces app that will allow you to be part of our community and know about upcoming events and specials. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next episode.